now um, the newest version. This is now the newest version of the slideshow. This is now the newest version of the slideshow. So obviously we have like one, two people on here. So I'm sharing with you what we have at this moment. The first thing that we begin with, is that the times we're experiencing are written in the ancient text. It is in the history books. It is in the Revelations in the Bible, and it is in many other texts from different walks of life. The times we're experiencing right now, the end of the old world or the old earth and the beginning of the new earth, right? In this quote from Revelations, and then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting to me. And if you look at the very bottom here, just bottom right corner, it says, He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. And death shall be no more. You hear what that says? And death shall be no more. Really? And neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore. For the former things have passed away. Right? So one more time, because it's for emphasis here. This is written in the book. This is written in the book that many will say is the book to follow, right? And it's been translated different languages. But overall, right, He will wipe every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore, for the former things have passed away. Right? Beautiful. So in other words, we are creating world peace. We're creating global unity, health and harmony, and expansion of consciousness. A planet of no more disease. A planet where there's no more mourning, crying, or pain. A planet where there's no more death. I mean, wow, that sounds like a crazy concept. No more death? What? What does that mean? And to die before death is to realize there is no death, because we are eternal spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. And what we believe is physical reality is changing right before our eyes, one moment, one day at a time, right? So with that being said, my name is Jordan. In the next 30 minutes, you're going to see the blueprint to heaven on earth, how we can manifest the golden age prophecy in the physical reality, educate, empower, and heal the entire planet. So you're probably wondering what's going on, Gavin. Welcome up. You're probably wondering, who am I? Why am I qualified to share this webinar? So I'm gonna be sharing with you guys my story. Growing up in a small town in Illinois, I had two brothers, one twin brother and one older brother, as you can see in the picture. And we grew up playing games together, sports, video games, and it was always a competition. It was always a competition. Who was the better brother? We got in, those little fights and things like that. And there's a lot of growing up, I was getting compared a lot. My mom and dad, and it was kind of as a joke. Who's better? Are you the better twin? Are you the better? Who's better? You or your brother, or you and your dad? That type of stuff. So growing up, I always wanted to play pro. I wanted to go to the NBA. I wanted to be a professional athlete, be rich and famous, and have people watch me. And because basketball was my thing growing. So as I went to college, I was about 2 years in, and I was working at pizza delivery as a part-time at the time as well. And after about 2 years, I wasn't getting the playing time that I wanted, and I was realizing that the way I saw myself was affecting my actual performance on the court. When I was alone in the gym, I was able to perform and be just as good as anyone. But for some reason, when I got into the games, it was almost like I would fall short. And I don't know if there was this emotion, how I saw myself mentally, emotionally. And around this time in college was when I got introduced to personal development. And I started reading books, and I started watching YouTube videos. And I started learning about success and the law of attraction. And I started setting goals, for the first time. And I was 19, 20 years old. And so that kind of led me down this new route. As I was dropping out of college, I was looking for something else to do. And this is when I got introduced to entrepreneurship. And I was learning how to make money online, because I didn't want to go back home to the small town in Illinois and be there my whole life. because I wanted to travel. I'd never really been out of that small town, just maybe a few times on vacations growing up, and I wanted to travel. And I said, if I stay in college for 2 more years, when I graduate with a degree, that's great. I'll get a job, but I'll be probably stuck in the same spot. So I was like, how can I have enough money coming in so I can travel wherever I want to travel? I was like, I got to be an entrepreneur. I got to make money online. That's exactly, what I began to learn, right? So over the next 2 years or so, I went on this journey. And to do trial and error. And at first it was kind of, wasn't working for me. I was insecure, I was shy, I was afraid of what people think. And I was learning, I was studying, I was at my parents' house as a college dropout, by the way. And everyone was calling me crazy, wondering what I was doing. Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. Why is that's pretty risky? You're learning how to invest money online, stocks and forex, cryptocurrency. What is that really going to work? And I had doubts. Is this going to work? And after about a year or so, I realized that, I really have to take responsibility for my life. My room was a mess. I was depressed. I was like, this isn't working how I wanted to. I have to do something different. And then all of a sudden, it was like I just had this awakening. And I was like, I have to completely take responsibility for everything in my life, and I have to decide exactly what I want. For the first time, like around Christmas, I got rid of Fortnite. I sold my PS4. I put my affirmations on the wall. I put every city I'm going to travel on the wall. And this time, I hadn't made no money yet. But there I was. I wrote it down. I declared it. New Year's resolution. I'm going to be healthy this year. I'm going to be wealthy this year. I'm going to travel. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. I'm going to do whatever it takes. This is one life. This is the only chance I get, right? And so at that time, and I made a decision. And what happened next was pretty magical. And over the next 3 to 6 months, a lot changed very quickly for me. I was able to travel to most of the places that I had wrote down on the wall. Just 6 months later, I had hit a six-figure income. And I traveled to over 30 different states, five or six, a few different countries in that period of time. And I built a team in network marketing of over 600 people in less than a year. And it was like, how did this happen? We were traveling the world, we're making all this money. And so at the first time in my life, I felt like I had achieved something, and I felt really good about it. However, there was still this part of me that was feeling empty on the inside. It was feeling like there had to be more to life. Why did I achieve all the success? I used law of attraction. I used manifestation. I do this, and I know I can. Okay, I got to 6 years, but I'm still comparing myself to people that are at 7, and I think they're better than me, and I think I'm not good enough to be around them. So there I was in the business I was in, and I got this really nice car, and as you can see in the picture here, and I started buying things that I really couldn't afford, but it helped my image at the time, and everyone that was around me, they saw me as this rich and successful person. And so I had this image to carry. I have to make sure I'm perfect. I'm in the spotlight now. I have all these followers on Instagram now. I started off with a few hundred, and we grew to tens of thousands in a few years of doing that. And then, so I had all these responsibilities. I was paying for everyone else's stuff, paying for everyone else's trips, paying for everyone else's hotels, event tickets, flights, all that stuff. And so at that time, I felt empty, and I felt like there had to be something more inside. And so around late 2020 was when I really started going down a spiritual path, right? And as the COVID pandemic hit, I was questioning a lot of things. And I realized that a lot of things we were told about reality is not actually true. And I knew this because I saw it in my own life. I said, whatever I write down is happening almost every time. It's always happening. I write down something, I find it's the next day I meet someone. I go to it's like everything I write down happens. So why is it that everyone's sick now? Everyone's got all these cases and everyone's dying. I was like, this isn't right. Something's not right here. Something's not adding up. And so there I am. I'm in this situation where my I'm still holding on to the past. I want to hold on. I have all these followers, recognition, money, and all this stuff. But there's something calling me inward. Like there's something bigger, something more important for you to work on, something for you to focus on. And I was like, I don't know what it is. I don't get it. I don't understand. And so I go deeper. I go deeper into myself in meditation. And so I start learning about my soul. I start learning about the different sides of myself. Okay, there's a shadow self. There's a part of me that is holding on to trauma from past experiences. And there's a part of me that's, okay, I have my intuition that's connecting me to the future. Wow, and I have all these different aspects of myself and learning this. And yet everyone's calling me, everyone's texting, where'd you go? Why are you not coming to the events anymore? Why are you not coming to the webinars? Where are you? And everyone's expecting me to do stuff. And I'm like, I have to listen to my spirit right now. Everyone doesn't know what they call me crazy. What are you talking about? You're out of touch with the reality. You're going this and doing that. And then, so, okay, listen. And so, I spent the last 2 years or so, and I wrote a book. I wrote a book on meditation. I don't know why I put this in, but I wrote a book on meditation. And through this, I really got so, and so what was happening with physical reality was I have all these expenses that were expanding. I had all these money spending habits that came from creating income. However, I wasn't doing that business anymore, so I didn't have the same income coming in as I did before. But yet I had all the habits and all the people still asking me for money, and I feel guilty for not giving them money, and I feel like an imposter because they all think I'm rich, and now my income's starting to drop, and I create all this suffering within myself, because now who am I without all this money? Who am I without all these followers? And then so I go through this period of time where no one listens to me. Everyone stopped watching me on YouTube and on it's everyone. Everyone stopped watching, and people think I'm crazy. I go into a psych ward, and meanwhile I'm going within myself. I see the future of this planet. I see the big picture. I see the future of this life. I see past lives. I see the soul. I see everything. And I see everyone. And I see everyone in a way that most people don't see themselves. And so through that, it's a lot of suffering, trying to get people to understand and explain it, and so on and so forth. So with that being said, I've seen clear vision, from God, the creator within himself. And what actually we're creating on this planet is absolutely magnificent. And it's been prophesied. And it's all happening right before our eyes. And so, the huge part of this is, of course, children, as I have mentioned here on the right, because, what we're creating here with Heavenly Earth, what is Heavenly Earth? Let's break it down. I mean, Heavenly Earth, the word Li is of heaven, right? Earth that's of the heaven. Earth is of the heaven, Heavenly Earth, heaven on earth, right? So it's right there in the symbolism, right? Heaven on earth, that's what we're creating, right? That's what we're creating, where there's no more disease, no more suffering, no more pain, no more sickness, right? No more war, no more any of that. However, right now where we are in physical reality, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like really far away. It looks like that's impossible. Look at the news. Look at everyone around you. Just no one would believe that. How could anyone believe such a crazy thing? And so that's been mostly my struggle, in the last year or so, of really seeing the whole thing out to the end. And so what I'm sharing with you guys, you'll see by the end of this webinar, is the actual blueprint, that I've been given. I'm showing you the blueprint of how we can come together and actually create this for reality. Right. So I appreciate you guys' time and energy coming on here. And I hopefully this makes sense. And I hope that we can have a positive outcome from this. All right. So welcome on here, by the way. Welcome on here. We have Omar is now on here. We have a few people on here, like 6 people. Nice, beautiful. And some of you guys have seen me on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or whatever it is. You've seen that, perhaps you've seen this diagram. Perhaps you've seen it from other people as well. And it seems to be pretty agreed upon concept is that we're shifting from the old planet to the new planet. Right? And really the old planet has been dominated by fear. The old planet has been dominated by fear. And so what we are showing here on this webinar is from what we're doing to get from the old planet to the new planet, and what we're creating. And what it comes down to ultimately, let's see what's on there. What it comes down to ultimately is that if you look at the very top, where is that? Okay, here we go. Here's the slide I was looking at. What we have right now is we have forces that are controlling this planet. And the way they control the planet is they control what we do. And the way they control what we do is they control how we think. Right? And so how they control how we think is a few ways. Through A, the collective programming, what they put into the education system. B, through what they put into food, which all affects our vibration, which all affects how we think, and so on and so forth. All right. And so we address it. This is pretty much the main problem. And we have different things like, there's different sources and ways they disconnect us from ourselves. With the pharmaceutical, with the fluoride, with the high fructose corn syrup, the artificial sweeteners, all this stuff that pretty much disconnects us from ourselves. In the old world that's of fear, right? The old world that has all these problems in it, And we have to look at it. Okay, we're in a collective consciousness that is creating this collective reality. We are the collective consciousness, the one. We are the one, the all. The infinite creator incarnated into different physical bodies, right? So we are all unique perspectives of the one infinite creator, experiencing unique perspectives, physical vessels, which they call Jordan, which they call Gavin, which they call Jared, which they call Omar, right? Which they call, right, different names. But at the core of who we are love. We are source. We are the truth, right? And the truth exists within each and every single one of us, right? And so the overall picture, the overall plan, you can look at it as a puzzle, right? And so to solve and create this new earth, this new planet, what do? We realize that we are all puzzle pieces to this puzzle. We put the puzzle pieces together and we solve it, right? So this new earth, what we're looking at, what we're creating is one of unity, right? One of where we are ascended to the truth of who we are. And pretty much the old planet is a reflection of us being disconnected with ourselves, right? And so our whole life we've been programmed and conditioned against the truth of our soul, right? And so that creates this chaos within ourselves, which reflects into chaos in the world, right? And because if you look at a new planet, a new earth, we are all connected with ourselves, and we were taught how to connect with ourselves from the very beginning, right? From the very beginning, because the truth is within us. If you are in connection with yourself and you love yourself and you are in service in alignment with your purpose, well, guess what? You are a complete love and light source that is completely sharing that with everyone else. And so that will reflect into physical reality. That will reflect into physical reality. So what we have here, the main problem, there's a problem we have right now on this planet is there is people that are controlling the minds of masses of people and programming, conditioning people against the truth. And that is pretty much the problem, right? If you look at Johnny Rockefeller actually, I don't know many people know about Johnny Rockefeller, the billionaire. He actually funded the education system back about almost 100 years ago. Today, he was one of the billionaires of the world and wanted to have a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers. He didn't want individuality. He didn't want free thought, right? And so him funding, he said, hey, whatever you guys are teaching these children, that's cool. But guess what? I have all this money, and I'm going to now decide, through blackmail and otherwise, that, hey, guess what? You're going to do whatever we say. We're going to do whatever we say because we're going to control you. Okay, and so money has a lot of power. And that's been about a lot of the old system. And then there's this famous Albert Einstein quote that really illustrates what we experience today in education, is that Albert Einstein says that if you judge a fish by his ability to climb a tree, the fish will go his whole life thinking he's dumb. Okay, so the education system has geniuses. By the way, all children, we believe, are geniuses, and yet we're programmed to be in this certain way that you have to be like everyone else or something's wrong with you. And that is absolutely what's completely wrong with the system today. And then, pretty much this whole concept of groupthink, okay, everyone, what we're collectively creating reality today is a reflection of our beliefs, and our beliefs come from our programming. So if me and you read the same textbook, right, we just saw what was in the textbook, right? And then guess what happens? We're going to talk about it, comes out of our mouth, right? It goes into our eyes, it comes out of our mouth. And then what goes out of our mouth goes into someone else's ears, okay? All things go into our eyes, go into our ears, and come out of our mouth are thoughts. All those thoughts go into the collective consciousness mind. And what goes into the collective consciousness mind the most creates collective beliefs, which are self-fulfilling prophecies in physical reality. Right, so we are dealing with a universal law right now, ladies and gentlemen, which is called the 100th monkey syndrome. And the people that have been controlling the way that we think have been using this law and this universal law and principle for virtually the history of time, right? And so we are using this law against them. It's pretty much the solution here, because many of us here, especially spiritual awakening people beginning in the spiritual journeys, it's real simple to look at, oh my God, there's all these problems in the system. We have the elites, we have the mass and the VSCZs, however you say the word, right? We're not getting the right information about health. We're not getting the right information about a lot of things. So it's real easy to look at the problem, complain about it, fight it. We're gonna kill the dollar. They said we're gonna kill the food. But what's happening is when we're focusing on the problem, we're energizing it and we're creating more of it. And so what we have to do is come together with a solution, right? Which we've pretty much outlined here on this presentation, which is not here. Okay, so the solution looking forward, if we are to create world peace, global unity, if we are to create heaven on earth, we have to understand that this is a process of evolution of humanity that we're experiencing. And so this is not a one-time thing. This is not something that happened overnight, but it's a process. And it's a process specifically of getting enough minds in the collective consciousness to think and vibrate a certain frequency and thought, right? And so what do we want to put into the collective consciousness of the mind is that the truth is within, right? What we want to realize is that the old earth is, hey, look outside of yourself. Look at the phone, look at the movies, look at the TV show, look at social media, look at all the video games. Everything's a distraction from yourself. And so when we're distracted from ourselves, we are disconnected from ourselves, and we are disconnected from ourselves. What happens is we cause pain and karma and problems to other people, right? Because it's a reflection of self. So the solution is to say, hey, as a child growing up, we acknowledge you are a genius. We acknowledge you are the infinite creator and a unique vessel coming from source, and you have a unique gift and ability, right? And so this diagram over here to the left, which is pretty much, it's called a Dharma wheel. You may have seen this before. It's with Sahara Rose and Deepak Chopra and a few pretty much main, people that are pretty known for, sharing this concept, is that you identify, and this is kind of the core of it, you identify what the Dharma, what the purpose of the child is at an early age. Instead of like the older education system, you basically, where it's set up to where, hey, you have to be like everyone else, right? You could be a genius artist, and guess what's going to happen? Growing up as a kid, this happened to me. I was painting pictures at 5 years old, but they told me, Jordan, you can't do art for very long because you're not going to be able to make money doing that. And so the old earth, the problem is it's all about survival, right? So the education system is not about purpose. It's not about service. It's about survival. The education system of the past is set up to where, hey, pretty much you're going to go through school, you're going to get a degree, and you're going to be a nation of workers, like Johnny Rockefeller said. And so that you have money for food, money to live. It's not, and then what happens is when people are 18, people are 22, people are 16, who are you? I have no idea who I am. I don't know what I want. I don't know what my role is here. And then we have suffering, and we have depression, we have anxiety. And what do they give us? They give us depression, anxiety pills and medication. Oh, and what else? Oh, and so that is the problem, right? That's pretty much the problem. If you look at it. And so we envision a world where, okay, when you're 15, 16, not only do you know who you are, your purpose, your mission, your service, you're already doing it. And not only are you doing it, you're already really good. And that's really what we see here in this new planet, is that, okay, starting at a young age, teach the child who they are. Teach the child how to connect with themselves and go within for the answers, so that their true genius can come out, without, like what we're doing, right? We have to go through all this reprogramming and reconditioning of ourselves to align with the truth of who we already are anyway, right? It's who we already are anyway. So really making that a collective belief is really a huge solution. Things like yoga, meditation, and consciously programming the human in a way that aligns with the truth. And that's what you look at. If you look at the whole concept, and I'll show the diagram here. And if you look at, what even is a human? I mean, what is the self? I mean, the self, really, the mind, body, and the soul that inhabits the body, that experiences the mind. And then, spirit is there. Okay, great. That's the person. So when it comes down to, we have programming of the mind, thoughts, repeated thoughts create beliefs. And then we have the body, actions, repeated actions create habits. And so when we program and condition the soul that's inhabiting the human body, right, in a way that aligns with the truth, then what happens is we just get love reflected into the world. And that's all there is. There's no more fear, separation, illusion, and so on and so forth. So to hit this 100th monkey syndrome, we have to hit mass numbers of people. This truth is education. So we come together, we thought, okay, great. We've had these programs. We have a coaching program, a course, like that's great. There's a lot of people doing that. And I was like, but how do we create something that we can really hit the actual goal itself? And it's like, we got to think much bigger, much sooner. And we got to stop thinking separation, and let's start thinking collaboration and unity. How can we put it together? How can we find the secrets of the universe, the planet, the truth of the soul, and put it all in one place so that everyone can get it? Everyone can get it, this agreed upon language, right? Agreed upon language, right? When we have the same programming in our mind, what happens is we have the same language coming out of our mouth. And as we know, words create our reality. Words create our reality. So what are we speaking about? What we're speaking about is a reflection of what we're thinking about, which is a reflection of what's going into our mind. All right. So we have to create a program that allows the human to understand themselves. And when you understand yourself, everything is a reflection of you, right? Everything is a reflection of you. So the truth is, hey, the focus is not outside of you. The focus isn't history. The focus isn't science. The focus isn't math. Those are important. Sure, they're important, but the focus is, who are you, right? The focus is not the focus isn't reading, it's the reader. The focus isn't writing, it's the writer. The focus, you see what I'm saying, right? Self-mastery. So that's pretty much what we have. Pretty much we have outlined. Okay. Very exciting stuff. Okay, so a couple other things we have outlined as well is, coming together with the actual truth. The actual truth of human origins, of the past, of what actually happened. How did we actually get here? And what is the truth of that? And what is our role in knowing this overall? Okay, and now when it comes to world peace, global unity, you gotta understand, when there's no more fears, no more disease, we're infinite. So every time when we're in this infinite possibility, pure potential realm, we naturally will become an advanced civilization, which we all have become many lifetimes before. So for us to become this next advanced civilization, we must learn about the advanced civilizations from the past. All right, so to understand our role. Okay, and then so what is the potential of the future? Because when we realize that we are always creating something, we are always creating our individual reality, and we're always co-creating our collective reality. So we must come together as a human race and decide on what the future is we are going to create. Because just because that is prophesized, just because it's the new earth, the new planet, and I've talked with a lot of people, they say, oh, well, I'm just waiting on the new earth. Where is it? Where is it going to show up? Where's this ascension? That, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to happen on accident. It's going to happen on purpose. I had to tell you, it's not entitled to us. There's still a potential timeline where Putin destroys the planet with a bomb. Okay, now it's not going to happen. And I've heard things of why that won't happen. It has a lot to do with ETs, extraterrestrials, and our guardians, our watches the garden, and so on and so forth. So we're going to be fine overall in the grand scheme of things. We'll get to that if we have enough time, because we have 9 minutes and we got to get the Zoom Premium still. But human potential, the future of where we are headed on this planet. Right, so we're coming together. What we were creating a first version of this long-term vision. And by the way, I appreciate you guys hopping on here. So what we see is, okay, let's put all these trainings recorded in one spot. Different educators. Let's do this live. We have a live training tonight. Matter of fact, right after this, we have a live training as well in in-person communities. Okay, so this is a part of this. Now we have two main parts of this totally overall. One is online, which is a way to organize information, and two is offline. All right, which we're going to get into, which are the actual communities, which are very exciting, the self-sustaining community aspect, which will introduce each technology as we evolve, as a human race, and as we meet the frequency that they're waiting to meet us at. Right, and so what I've heard is that 100,000%, just as we are learning from ETs, they're learning from us just as much, if not more so, and they're excited to learn about our progression and so on and so forth. So what is the main difference? We got to really wrap this up. We got 8 minutes. Oh shit. So what is the main difference between formal education and new paradigm education? Main difference is two things. Number one, formal education is, hey, you learn until you get a degree, and then you're done. You have the credentials, for life. That's the problem with the hospitals today. The doctors learned something in 1985, and then the thing is, we have new updates already, and it hasn't been put in the textbooks. It hasn't been approved by science yet, and so that's kind of the issue. Is every single thing you could probably think of has been cured already in individual settings or in small circles. It's just not publicly, massively known. So that's what we're putting this education platform is, hey, you can cure X, Y, Z. You can cure this, and that. Dr. Joe Dispenza has cured some of the most uncurable diseases through meditation alone, and through teaching the soul to actually disconnect and detach from the idea of who they think they are that has the disease. Really, we're letting go of the belief that we are our past is really what's happening. And we're tapping into the eternal now, the quantum field presentation, right? So the new earth paradigm education is, you don't stop learning at 18, ladies and gentlemen. Because look, I don't know about you guys, but the school system was set up. Hey, I'm gonna get this over with. I'm gonna go home and play Call of Duty. I can't stand school. I don't want to be here. I can't wait to play Fortnite when I get back. I'm gonna go to my girlfriend's house. Fuck this. I'm gonna play basketball, right? And I didn't care about school. It didn't make sense to me. It was like so obvious to me, and it was so like, I don't know, like I just felt like we weren't being taught the truth, and like it wasn't even hard. So it's like I don't have to pay attention. But we believe the new birth paradigm education, you're in alignment with your soul. You understand your mission, your purpose, your role on this planet. So you never stop learning because you're always getting better. You're always consuming, right? And ladies and gentlemen, your mind's a blank canvas. Your thoughts a paint. Your humor's a picture, right? So understand that, you get what you think about most of the time, and understand what you consume consumes you. So the moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying, right? So we have to always be learning something new. And so that's what we're really setting up here, is that we're setting up a platform that you cannot be not interested in. Like, you're just gonna have to be interested, because we'll have something that will resonate with your specific soul's blueprint, right? And that's what we're aligning people with. That's the new paradigm of the new education, okay, which is pretty exciting. The great Aristotle quote said, if you give me a child before the age of 7, I'll show you the man.
you know, because the way the collective conscious, subconscious mind is programmed. Oh my God, it's 6 minutes. Oh, we don't have time to. We don't know if we have time to finish the whole thing. Okay, so with that being said, guys, what we are creating right now is two things. We're creating a business model. We're creating a business model to mass distribute this information, and we're having a small startup fee of $150. Okay, and we've thought about, hey, you know, let's do donations, let's do that. And there's a couple reasons why we're not doing donations. Number one, in the business world today, there's certain things like LLCs and taxes, professionalism, things like that. And it's kind of a way to make this professional and so on and so forth. And so what we're giving with the $150, we're giving a few different things, right? We're giving a few different things. Number one is you're getting access to education, right? Number two, you're getting a spot, right? Because we're setting this up as multi-level marketing. So in a way where everyone can actually get receive residual income on a weekly basis to actually spread this message. And so we're partnering up right now with the educators to go ahead and put the teachings in the platform itself for the long run, and to have pretty much the combined unified truth of physical reality and the potentials of humans all in one spot. Okay, and so on and so forth. And so a lot of people say, hey, I like that, it's a great idea, but I have to work at this job, I don't have the money, I don't have the time. So we're basically hitting two birds with one stone. We're actually hitting like 5 birds with one stone. Really here with this platform, that's really the kind of the whole point of it. So now it gives everyone, hey, you want to travel the world, you want to spread love and light, well, guess what? We're going to pay you to do that. We're going to pay you to do that and to teach that and lead people with what you've already gone through. And right, so we understand, you know, there's not a single person on this planet that cannot teach something, that has not been through something. And we understand that those people that play those roles will play them. And we're giving a platform to do that, right? We're giving a platform to do that. So, okay, we have 4 minutes, so I'm going to do my best here. But we're basically, if you look at this, right, the left side of the cash flow quadrant, 90% of people are at employer, self-employed. So we're showing you how you can be, number one, a business owner, where you can own a system that works for you, and then also an investor where money works for you as well. So we're giving you an ability to get actually a share of this company, and that will grow over time and the percentage of it goes, and also a spot in the placement tree. All right, and so that as we build this thing, you'll be at the very top, pretty much be at the very, very top, right? So the reason why network marketing is a mathematical and scientific approach of why it is, because the exact way to hit 100th monkey syndrome is to share it, right? Because monkey see, monkey do. So when you do something a certain way and you share it with someone else a certain way, what happens is the thoughts rub off, the energy rubs off, and overall the beliefs rub off as well. And that's basically what we're creating. How do we create collective beliefs? We decide upon a collective programming system, and then we share with enough people, which then will change collective reality in itself, scientifically, universal law, as universal law states. So right now, what we're getting is we're giving $50 back for every single person who gets started. And then we're also setting this up to pay educators as well. And once the platform is completely done or done enough legally, then we'll have a system set up where you will receive weekly residual incomes. And we know a guy that does that too. Okay. So there's 2 ways to get started with this. Okay. Which is PayPal and Cash App, Heavenly Earth Academy, which is in there as well. Also, this is part of it here. And I want to show you guys briefly the communities, because it's really what I'm most excited about. And which is really fun. Okay, so the $150, it gets a spot in the tree, it gets a spot in education, and also gives you a share of the company. And you can actually buy more than one share. You can buy up to 30 shares we have right now, which is like, that's $4,500. And so in the long run, we would imagine we can 10, 100, maybe 1,000, times the actual value of the company in the beginning. And so that could be like amazing investment is what we would like to see, right? Which is pretty cool, pretty exciting. Okay, so now boom. Okay, so with the Academy online, which is then able to put all the information in one place, organize it in a way, systemize it in a way, what we have also as well is actually in person brick and mortar communities, which will include a few different things, right? We'll sum this up in 2 minutes. Number one is going to be children's camps. Number 2 is universities, right? Universities for 13 plus. Think Harry Potter, type of stuff, right? Magic, that type of stuff. That's what we're creating. 3, healing centers, which is available to all people. 4, self-sustaining aspect, which will take care of homelessness, which will take care of hunger, and that will pretty much create world peace in itself, because most of the fear-based thoughts are based around survival. So we take care of food and shelter, that'll solve everything. And then boom, when we're ready, vibrationally, ET technology will come in to these communities, which are in nature, of course. All right, so let's break this down. We got a minute and a half. Okay, briefly. This is kind of what it'll look like. This is pretty much kind of what it'll look like. This is kind of just an image, it can really look however we want. But this is just kind of an idea, a visual viewpoint And what we see is we'll have pretty much, this is basically what a self-sustaining community will consist of. All right. So in the middle, we have the community itself, which, typically is between mountains or nature. It's in nature, somewhere high vibrational, right? Away from the cities. And so what we'll do is we'll have buses, our buses and vans that will travel from city to city that are nearby that community. And we will find people and bring them back, right, to the actual community. People that are looking for healing, people that are looking for shelter, and so on and so forth. Just kind of briefly break down, give you 60 seconds here. Healing centers, which will include kind of New Earth, and just kind of giving you a little piece of this, right? Children's camps, just kind of quickly, because you only have like 30 seconds. Children's camps, universities, which is exciting. Basically in summary, $150 to get started in the Heaven Earth Academy. Also, you get a share, and then if you want to throw in more than that amount to help, get these actual communities, and you can do that as well. All right, do that as well. So pretty exciting, guys. I'm excited to share with you guys. We'll see you guys soon. Hit me up, text me, DM me, and then boom. My most favorite one of all is ET technology. Right? So things like this. What is really possible? Oh my God, what is possible?